I've got a problem. And that problem is that I have nothing to wear. My name's Hannah and I am a mom. I have a 3-year-old son and I have twin 6-month-old girls. They're 6 months. And over the last few years, style-wise, it's mostly been, well, you can see it. I work from home. I have 3 small children and I don't get out much, to be honest. So I live my life in sweats and big baggy clothes and stuff of my husband's that I steal. Currently, at this moment, wardrobe-wise, I have 1 pair of jeans that are vintage Kirklands, originally from Costco. I have 1 pair of shorts that I made in the last video, and my top game is mostly graphic tees from wherever, mostly stolen from my husband. It's not exactly the wardrobe that I'm dreaming of. And over the last few years, my body's undergone a lot of changes because of the pregnancies. And I keep waiting for, I don't know, permission or the right time to make myself the wardrobe of my dreams. Someday when you get back down to X number of pounds or X size, you deserve to make your own wardrobe. Well, screw that. We're just doing it anyway. Because A, it's uncool. B, it's unkind. And C, I don't know, it's just lame and I don't feel like doing it anymore. So, what are we going to do today? Today, I want to take you into my mind, into my Pinterest board, and we are going to look for inspiration there and for some common threads that we can put together to figure out what we want to make. And from there, I'm going to take you into my thread loop, which is a beautiful, wonderful site that's relatively new. I think it's been around for a year or so, maybe. It's a great place for home sewists who are looking for patterns, especially for specific things. So we are going to match our Pinterest board to our patterns to the fabric we already have. I'm hoping to spend $0 today on this project, but I might need to buy a pattern or 2. I'm not opposed to that. And from there, we're going to plan my spring and summer wardrobe. Shorts or skirts, a skirt, a couple tops, a pair of pants or 2, and maybe a dress. So we are actually kind of going for it. And this is going to be multiple videos. Obviously, I'm not doing all this today. Good evening. Are we doing moody lighting just for ambiance and vibes? Or is it 11:30 at night and this is the first free moment I've had all day? It's been a bit of a harrowing evening, I cannot lie. So I'm really looking forward to taking you into my Pinterest and figuring out what I'm going to do about my summer wardrobe. All right, here you have it. This is my Pinterest profile. Feel free to come find me if you want to. Don't mind this Halloween costume of me as the guy from 300 from when I was a literal teenager. Clearly, I'm not that eager to keep some of the stuff up to date. But let's scroll through. I think if we're looking at broad themes, right off the bat, you can tell that I am a lover of color. I don't think this always comes across in my actual wardrobe that I wear because I've been kind of neglecting myself a little bit over the last few years. But yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, we can see so much color. I think that's the first thing that jumps out to me when I look at my Pinterest board. I did recently go through this, by the way, and do a little bit of a purge of some things that I wasn't that interested in anymore. So this is very up to date. The other thing that jumps out to me a lot is volume. I am seeing big flowy skirts, big pants, big dresses. There's tons of big dresses in here that I just love. Especially as someone who had twins not that long ago. Something without a constricting waistline is very appealing to me from a comfortability standpoint, but also as a style. It's kind of a debate that some people have, right? Like, personally, I love not showing a lot of the body and leaving some things to the imagination. And I think maybe it's because I was a young woman in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And it was very, I don't know, like, I felt like eyes were on me. Like, I was being scrutinized. My body was being scrutinized. Maybe that's not anything to do with the time period. Maybe that is just what being in your late teens and early 20s is like. But something like this, like, I love this. I love that you can still be stylish. You've got cool layers. but there's not a lot of like the shape of your actual body exposed. Now I do want to say, like, I also think it's fabulous when people are out like showing it all off and being skin tight. Every time I see a girl doing it, you know, an angel gets her wings when a baddie is out here doing her thing. So these are some of the collages I made. This one is talking about the monochrome looks that I found, like an all yellow and all green and all greenish chartreusey and all blue and an all red, but different textures, different prints that are still dominant in that color, I think is so beautiful. And just wait until I show you my fabric that I bought. I bought this a while ago, like right when my twins were born, because I knew that I was going to get back into sewing and I wanted to have fabrics ready. And almost all of them like play and coordinate together really well. So I think we'll be able to achieve something like this. My next collage that I made is my big dress or big skirt with layers board. So I love something like this, like a spaghetti strap dress with like a cool tight fitting layer underneath. These dresses are big, they're voluminous, they're longer as well. Like, I'm not being caught out here in anything shorter than a midi these days because I'm chasing after kids, and when I bend over, I don't want my ass to be out. So yeah, I love a pinafore. A spaghetti strap dress I think is very versatile. I probably would style it by itself or just over a t-shirt in the summer. But in the winter, I can throw a cool hand knit sweater on over it and it's still super chic. So yeah, big dress for life. Something else that I noticed, and this one is a little crazy, is skirt over pants, or skants, as I am probably unoriginally calling them. This is such a cool look to me, and not necessarily like a skirt over pants the way I styled it in middle school, but like pants that have like a structured, like pleated layer to it is really cool to me. Guys, I got a pattern that's almost exactly like this. I swear to God, I saw it on Instagram and I added to cart immediately. Which is not really like me. I'm usually a little bit more thoughtful about the types of things I'm going to buy. I did not have to think about this. It was just like manna from the heavens. This one's a little bit of an outlier, but it's got a crochet panel over some jeans, which I just think is gorgeous. And like, you can take it off and put it over any pair of pants, which is super cool. So yes, this was something that kind of showed up again and again, the skants of it all. These especially are super cool. I know this is more just like a pleated leg of pants. I have a dream of creating my own sewing patterns and learning how to be a pattern maker. That's something I want to make someday. Watch this space. My dreams to available time ratio at the moment is very skewed. Another thing in this board that I found was a lot of like tops with ruched details or drawstrings or elastic channels, just something that has some texture and some movement. And I also really like this for the sort of forgiveness of your body kind of thing. If I go out to the buffet and I go absolutely ham, I can let out some drawstrings or the elastic has some give. And if I, lose or gain some weight, it's going to stay cute and awesome. So this is definitely something I want to make. I looked, spoiler alert, because I know we're going to look at thread loop soon. I looked for patterns for this and I could not. I found one that a lot of the reviews said was not well drafted for the larger sizes, and I think I probably would be too big for the largest size anyway. So we're not gonna, for me, it's sort of table stakes to have pattern sizes above an extra large. So I'm not gonna do the humiliation ritual of like trying to figure this out. It's not for me. If you're not making your pattern in my size, I'm not gonna use it or buy it. Anyway, off my soapbox on that one. But I think this would be, dare I say, easy enough to self-draft, especially starting from a block. So I'm going to try that and see how it goes. Maybe. That's the plan. All right, so to wrap up, we found volume, we found color, we found skants.
On skants.
And we found tops with interesting voluminous details like ruching or drawstrings or elastic casings. So I think that's really something good to work with. And we can take that and find some sewing patterns that we could potentially use or at least take inspiration from. I tend to be a little bit of a pattern purist, but as I'm trying to develop my sewing skills, I'm more interested in like hacking patterns and self-drafting. So if we find something that's close, we can always make some adjustments. So let's head over to Threadloop now. If you're familiar with Ravelry for knitting and crochet, it's pretty much that for sewing. It's a huge pattern directory. It's got pretty much everything on there. There are pattern lists by creators. You can share reviews and pictures of your own patterns. You can take stock of your fabrics and your notions and your patterns that you have. It's awesome. I'm a big fan and a big user. So let's take a look in here and see what kind of plans we can make. All right, here we are in Threadloop. This is the sewing website I was telling you about. It is a big pattern directory, I think primarily. However, you can use this as much as you want. So for me, anytime I come across a pattern that I want, I add it to my wish list. Or anytime I find a pattern that I already have, I can stash it. I don't use it for my fabric and my notions, but you totally can. And people also use it as a social network to share their patterns and their review of patterns and what they made. I haven't done that. I mostly share that over on Instagram, and you can find that link in my bio. But yeah, let's get started on looking for some things. So first of all, let me take you to my wish list, or actually let me take you to my pattern stash. So first of all, let me take you to my pattern stash, because right here at the top, my most recently purchased pattern, I have the Ficus trousers by Joy Couture. This pattern is only available in French, a language that I cannot speak. So I'll be using some Google Translate, so that will be a little bit tricky potentially. I wouldn't do this if I was like brand new to sewing, but I feel like with pictures and translation, I can, I'll wing it, I'll do my best. But yeah, these are like exactly what I was thinking. They are cool. They've got that little pleated section in the front. I don't know exactly what kind of fabric I want to do this in. I have some really cool printed fabric, but I think maybe a solid would really let the style lines of this show. I think I would probably do the buttons or the hooks instead of the ties just to make it a little bit more simple, although the ties could make it a little more size variable. I'll have to make a game day decision on that one. But yes, the Ficus trousers, those are like critical. I must make them. I have actually and literally dreamt about them. Another pattern that I think is going to be awesome that I already own is the Sandra skirt. I'll be honest, I have this one already cut out and like half made, so I think this is like a shoe-in. I used some black and white checked like gingham fabric for it. I'm doing the simplest version. There's a couple versions of this pattern. This one has godets, which are these triangles of inset fabric. I'm not going to do the godets and stuff. Like, I'm just busy. I don't have as much time to sew as I would like, so I would rather make the simpler version and have something to wear. So yeah, I think the Sandra skirt's going to be really cute. I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. So with the Joy trousers, we have our scans. The Sandra skirt is our big flowy skirt. We also identified a big flowy dress, and I have two in mind for which I already have patterns. Let's take a look. First of all is the Sid Graham Skyline dress. This one's kind of a no-brainer. I really wanted to make this last summer and just did not get around to it. There's some really cute patchwork versions that I think would be adorable, and I have some half-yard bundles of some really special fabric that maybe we can use. But yeah, it looks very simple, looks very forgiving of the fit, and it looks like it would be easy for me to run around with my kids in this dress. So I think this one's a definite. We're going to make this one. The tie dress is a dress that I have actually previously made, and it is so stunning. I wore it through my whole pregnancy. I still wear it. it is just that versatile. I have some gingham fabric, like this blue and like mauve, I don't know, mauve, blue and purple gingham that I bought from Blackbird, and it's just stunning, and I think it would really be cute in this dress. So potential for that one. But what I was going to say is the Faye dress by Hubbarding. I have one cut out as well, but it's just plain black, so I think I would actually abandon that one for now and make something a little bit more my style and something more bright and cheerful. But this looks really cute. I love that under bust sort of V-shaped seam here, and yeah, I think it looks really cool. I could see myself wearing that quite a bit. All right, we've got our voluminous skirt. We've got 2 or 3 voluminous dresses to choose from. We've got our skants. Color and texture and all that is going to come into the fabrics, and we'll pick those when it's time to actually sew those garments. One thing that was not on my Pinterest board that I have identified as a need in my wardrobe is pants. I have one pair of pants. Well, no, that's not true. I have one pair of jeans currently that fit me well, and I would really like potentially not just jeans, but like a pair of work pants, like similar to jeans, that hard wearing, I'm going to go out, I'm going to wrestle my kids in the yard kind of pants. And I have a pattern in mind that I have purchased that I am actually kind of obsessed with. So I'm going to look up the cedar pants. No patterns found. What do you mean? Oh, that's in my stash. All pants. I haven't added it to my stash yet. By Layla Makes. I have made her Topo pants, which are pretty similar to this. They're just a straight up elastic waist with a faux fly. And this version is an elastic back that has a full button and fly. They're so cute. Oh my God, I love them. And it's got a gusset. I love a gusset. I truly do. But anyway, the one I made had a sort of short back rise, and so I get a little bit of like a little bit of a wedgie in them. That's not the cutest. So I think I will be making a toile of this and just assessing how the butt fits, because it was looking a little crazy in the other pants. Not that I care. I wore them a ton, but they're getting a little worn out at this point. So this feels like a good upgrade. Plus, my second job is as a paramedic. So at some point, I can use the same pattern to make just like a navy blue hard wearing pair of medic pants. All right, on to blouses. This one I'm going to show you some of the capabilities that Threadloop has and go through and look by design detail and see if we can find anything. I did do this ahead of time and I didn't see a ton that I was interested in, but we could be missing something, or there could be something new that's happened. So we're going to go to explore. Well, we could go to explore pattern list. Let's try that first and see if anybody's made a list that has something in it that I would like. All right, maybe dress with waist ties and drawstrings, because a lot of dress patterns you can also hack into a blouse quite easily. So this is a bunch of different dresses that have that kind of detail. Seeing some cute things, but not necessarily things that I am interested in making right off the bat, or that really like fulfill the brief. So we can keep looking for lists. There's some really cute stuff in here. I found great things on lists, but I'm going to move on and just go to patterns. So there's so many things I can choose from. So I'm going to say pattern type tops. I'm going to keep it general because I don't know, like a blouse versus a tunic, you know, I know what the difference is. I'm just saying, like, I might miss something if I really filter. All right, so we're doing top, and then design details is one I like. So I can say drawstring / elastic casing. Perfect. And then I can look at these. I can choose detail view versus gallery view. I think right now I just want to look at gallery. And as you can see, these are very much like the types of things I'm looking for. I got my eye on you, Tulip Top. Not right now, but I do like your vibe. So I can just scroll through. All of these things have like an elastic casing or a drawstring detail, which is very cool. And so you find a lot of cool stuff like this, although I'm sure you can kind of imagine, since I already explained what I'm going for, I'm not really seeing anything exactly like what I am searching for. So I will keep going. I may be missing something, but I think this might be something we have to self-draft, which is exciting. I've never done a full self-drafted thing before. I've only pattern hacked. So this is very exciting for me. It's the first step towards, my dream, making sewing patterns. Two things that are gaps in my wardrobe that I don't necessarily have on my Pinterest board, because I don't think they're really like Pinterest worthy, are shorts and t-shirts. Over the summer, let's be real, especially as a mom running around with my kids, I'm going to be in shorts and a t-shirt like 90% of the time. And I want some things that aren't either my husband's oversized stuff or just like the rattiest t-shirts ever that I've had since high school that fit poorly and have mysterious stains on them. And I only have one pair of shorts currently that works for me, which I actually made in my last video, if you want to check that out. I have the pattern for Sid Graham's Lane pants that is extraordinarily popular and I already made. What I think I'm going to do is size down from the shorts that I made in my last video and just batch sew like 3 pairs of those so that I always have a clean pair of shorts to wear over the summer. And then for t-shirts, I have a free pattern from Friday Pattern Company that's called the Bateau t-shirt. And I've made several iterations of this. I think I've got it mostly down. So I'm going to make one completely from some fabric that I don't mind if it gets messed up. And then I'll adjust the fit and use my good t-shirt fabric for a couple others. Let's wrap it up. My plans: shorts, 2 or 3 pairs. T-shirts, 2 or 3. One nice blouse that has drawstring or elastic casing details that's ruched and pretty. One voluminous dress. One voluminous skirt. And 1 pair of skants. And 1 pair of work pants. Now, this is obviously not going to fit into one video. This is going to take me several weeks to make, especially because this is not my full-time job. I have a full-time job and a part-time job and 3 children and other stuff in my life that I'm trying to do, like keep my house clean and maintain social relationships. So what I'll be doing is breaking these garments into sections and making videos about the sections. So maybe a video for shorts and t-shirts, a video for my skants, that kind of stuff. And then hopefully I will have a pretty cohesive mix and match type wardrobe that I can return to year after year. I am not waiting anymore for the perfect body or the perfect time or the perfect fabric or the perfect pattern. I'm just making stuff to fit me with what I have now for right now. And if things change, I can sew, right? Like I can alter, I can fix, I can flip, I can do whatever the heck I want. So stay tuned, more to come on this, and I am gonna get to sewing. Not tonight, because it's midnight, but tomorrow. All right, bye for now.